Hey guys, welcome back to another review. Today I am reviewing A Ghost Story starring Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara, Macomb Cephas Jr., and Kenesha Thompson, and was directed by David Lowery, who directed the Peach Dragon live-action remake, Old Man and the Gun with Robert Redford, and the upcoming The Green Knight. Literally, I'm so excited for it. I cannot wait a second. It's coming out in like a few weeks or something. It's coming out soon, end of the month. I'm so freaking hyped. And this film is about a husband dies and as a ghost has to witness his wife and even his area change and move on. This this movie, I have a hard time describing it actually. It may look like some sort of horror film, but it's not. Like, I mean, you look at a movie called A Ghost Story, and the poster is of a ghost. Do you expect this to be like a thriller, a supernatural horror film? No, it's not. It is a high drama. This is definitely a drama. You cannot get more drama than this movie. Let's see. Oh, what to talk about? There's so much. Performances. There's not really much performancing in this movie. No, there is. All good. Casey Affleck's amazing in this movie, even though there's barely any dialogue spoken at all in this movie. The acting he is under this sheet, this sheet, a ghost sheet. You could read so much with just his body movement. Like his physical acting in this movie is phenomenal. Rooney Mara is really good in the movie as well. She's excellent. She really gets the feel of a depressed person down very well. Everyone good in the movie. Most of it is Casey Affleck, though. He's mainly the only actor in the movie. Him and Rooney Mara are probably the only actors that are consistently in the movie. And then there is the cinematography. It is... Oh boy, sorry. Really tired. Cinematography is fantastic. It's flippin' fantastic. It's a great looking movie this is. It's gorgeous. And also depressing at the same time. And that's basically what this movie is. You know how I said Lean on Pete and Waves were depressing? This movie, you have seen nothing yet. No, this movie makes those two movies look like the frickin' Lion King Hakuna Matata scene. This movie is literally one of the most depressing movies I have ever seen. But it's not like Waves where it almost is practically comical with how sad it gets. Or Lean on Pete. This movie is sad for multiple reasons. One, it's about depression. Two, it's about grief. Three, it's about having to let people go, and that stuff's not easy. Yeah. It's a very difficult movie to watch because it is very slow-paced, but it is in a good slow-paced. And then there is the directing is excellent in this movie. David Lowery is a really good director. I really cannot wait to see what he does with The Green Knight. It looks so awesome. But this movie is directed very well, very great. I'm shocked that this movie didn't get any recognition for its direction or any recognition at all. It's a great. This movie has great directing, great editing, great cinematography, great acting. Everything about this film is great. And there's even some moments that are actually kind of shocking. I didn't expect the movie to take a certain direction, and it did. And it's just like, I didn't expect that. And yes, this movie hits me in the feels. It hits me in the feels so much. So many scenes in this movie are just heart-wrenching. But in a subtle way. Like, if you really think about it, some of the scenes in this movie, they are the saddest scenes in film history. Then there's a soundtrack which is haunting, but also beautiful at the same time. It's so good. The soundtrack is just, oh boy, it's so good, so powerful. And then there is the ghost itself. I love the design of the ghost. How it just looks like your ordinary ghost with the sheet and the holes. But it's so effective. It's so effective. I don't know why. It matches the movie's tone. And it works so well. Sorry if you hear my dog Walter barking. My mom just got back home, so Yeah, I'm 16 living with my parents. So like, oh, yeah. I'm not even, I don't even think I'm ready to move out yet. Oh wait, no. I'm not 16. I'm 17 now. I aged. Yeah, what else to talk about? What else to talk about? And then, of course, there is the one scene in this movie that everyone has seen this movie, has talked in great lengths about, the pie eating scene, where literally just the camera holds on Rooney Mara eating this pie for like 9 minutes straight until she vomits. That shot goes on for an uncomfortably long time, but it really accurately portrays grief. At least so I've heard. I've never actually experienced much grief myself, but I can only imagine, right? And I'm pretty sure I will one day go through with it. Everyone will. Everyone will go through grief at some point in their life. And I have a feeling I will too. Let's hope that's not anytime soon, though, because I'm like being happy. And this movie makes me anything but happy. Even though I love it. I love this movie. But yeah, that scene has been talked about for a while. I felt like I should talk about it too. Even though I think it actually is very powerful. But I'm used to having very powerful movies be memed to death. So, I wouldn't really call this movie memed, but it was definitely talked about. We watched this with my mom, actually, and she hated it. I didn't like it at first, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, this movie's great. It's, in fact, a masterpiece. And it almost was. Until one scene towards around the third act. There's a huge exposition scene where they just explain whatever's going on, even though you could easily just figure it out yourself. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. I actually think this was my first A24 film. I'm glad they, this movie introduced me to a studio that makes so much amazing films. And this one is one of them. But I didn't like it when I first saw it. When I thought about it more, I loved it. And, it's amazing. It's a fantastic film. But yeah, my one issue with this movie is the exposition scene. I figured out what the movie actually was and what it meant, and I wasn't even a big fan of art house films at the time. So I already understood what the movie was. So why did they have to add the exposition scene? It just was unnecessary. And then why is this movie rated R? Like, why is this movie rated R? There's nothing wrong with this movie. Nothing in this movie. There's no sex, no violence, no drugs. Nothing horribly frightening. I mean, I guess you could say the subject matter is dark, but I've seen PG-13 movies with much darker subject matter, and they still got PG-13. I mean, that movie, Reign Over Me, is about 9/11. That got PG-13. Dunkirk, that was about World War II. That got a PG-13. That's all I can think of at the second, but yeah. And the only thing, oh jeez, the only reason why I think this movie got an R is there's one F word used in a sexual context. Very briefly. Towards the end. That's the only reason this movie got an R. Probably. It does not deserve the R. It could have been PG-13. Easily. And fun fact, Secret Window, that Johnny Depp Stephen King movie, I think it was Stephen King, that movie had a sexual use of the F word. And that movie had a lot more violence and a lot more disturbing stuff than in this movie. Even though, yeah, the violence was tame, it was still pretty bloody. Way more violent compared to this. But why did that one stay PG-13 when this got an R? It's very strange. A24 movies are usually given ratings that really don't need to get a rating. Slow West got an R. That could have been PG-13. What do you call it? No. Yeah, you understand what I mean. You understand what... 8th Grade. That could have been PG-13. There's 5 F words. Dunkirk had about the same. Dunkirk had more violence, too. I guess you could say the sexual references in 8th Grade were a little much. I've seen worse in, like, Dumb and Dumber. I just say Dumb and Dumber was worse with sexual innuendo. Same with like anything by Adam Sandler. So yeah, that's my only issue with the movie is the unnecessary exposition scene. That's it. Nothing wrong with this film other than that. All right. In conclusion, A Ghost Story is one of the most powerful films ever made. I think I've ever seen as well. This movie deserves to be seen more. I highly recommend this one to you. It is a very powerful movie, very emotionally intense, but also somewhat beautiful. I'm going to give A Ghost Story an A and as a must see. Wait. Instant classic. Instant classic. So if you've seen A Ghost Story, what did you think about it? And if you like this review, give it a like, and I will see you guys next time.